So can you tell me what a normal day for you is like for a caregiver? I know that you have a full-time job, and then you do this as well.
Okay, well, sometimes he'll wake me up 5:30 in the morning, trying to get out, wanting to go look for a job, do something, go outside to garden. My alarm clock. So I'll take him back to bed, coax him back to bed, you know, have my mom kind of hold him down. And I get ready for work. I go to work, come home about 4:30, 5, and I take over. We go for walks. We, you know, kind of practice what memory he does have.
Your second job.
Your second job.
One thing that should be noted too is that we're focused on the patient certainly, but the caregiver also endures a great deal of stress, and the caregiver also needs a great deal of social support along the way, and it takes a great amount of resilience to be able to care for a relative in that condition.
Definitely.
I think not enough attention is paid to the role that the caregiver plays in all of this.
Definitely, it's not an easy job. I would not recommend it for anybody or wish it upon anybody.
No.
But it is stressful. There are support groups. I try to attend, but you know, with my dad, it's pretty hard. The Wise Center in Santa Monica actually has, they'll watch them while the support group is going on, so that's pretty good. And I want to have my mom attend those. I think it's more beneficial for her to just, you know, relax for a while away from my father. So.
Well, now I know that Alzheimer's Association does have support groups. So can you tell me a little bit about that, what they offer?
Sure. The Alzheimer's Association is really a volunteer-based organization that started with caregivers needing services. And support groups is one of the biggest programs, I believe, that the caregivers find most beneficial, because they can meet families that are going through the same thing that they are. And people don't really understand until they're going through it too. And we also have a 24-hour helpline that's available to caregivers any time of the day or night that they can call. And I could actually give that number right now. It is 1-800-272-3900. And we also have education programs for the general community. We also have professional training for people who are working in the field with Alzheimer's individuals. We have MedicAlert Safe Return, which is a national database to help keep people safe and return them to their homes. We also do advocacy, and we visit Sacramento and Washington, D.C. once a year, and all the offices are very connected with their legislators locally. And we also provide care consultation, which is probably some of the services that Arturo, when he called, there was a care consultant there on the other end to help him with referrals and to be that listening ear.
Arturo, has your relationship changed dramatically with your father?
Yes, definitely.
How has it changed?
Like I was saying, my dad, he was very intelligent. He had a master's in theology. We used to play chess together. We used to, you know, play word games, mind games, and now he could do geometry in his head. Now he can't add 2 and 2, and I see him more as, it's weird, but I see him as my son, as somebody I'm responsible for. He was responsible for me many years. Now the table's turned, and I care for him. So, I mean, he is still my father, but he isn't my father.
Giovanni, you do research that deals with memory and aging. So can you tell me a little bit about that?
Sure. My work focuses more on the preventative aspect of things. My work focuses specifically on having older people play video games and examining the impact that playing video games, in this case a Nintendo handheld called the Nintendo DS, has on improving not just their cognitive functioning, which is critical certainly, but also their psychological or emotional functioning, things like self-esteem, sense of control, depressive symptoms. So the focus is not just on getting people to maybe process information more rapidly, on increasing their memory, but also getting them to feel more empowered. A lot of work has found that the more empowered older adults feel, then the more likely it is that they'll take the initiative to engage in these activities that will decrease the likelihood that they suffer from something like Alzheimer's or other forms of dementia. So it's more in the preventative aspect of things.
Linda, recently I was following a story where a woman who had Alzheimer's left her home and was missing for 5 days. They found her and she was safe, but who knows what could have happened.
Right.
Is this something that happens often?
Yes, and nearly 60% of people with Alzheimer's disease will wander during the course of the disease. So it's pretty prevalent. And it can't be predicted. It can occur any time or any place. And 70% of wanderers are found 1 mile or less from their home. And when the families were asked what happened prior to the wandering incident, they observed that they were either in an unfamiliar environment, that they saw their hat or coat, that they had a confrontation or an argument, or there was a change in their schedule or routine. So it could be just about anything. And Arturo mentioned earlier that his dad is thinking he's going to go to work.
Have you had a situation where he had wandered off?
Yes. My parents were gardening, or my mom was. My dad was kind of just hanging out. And this was when he could still use the restroom. And he said, "I'll be right back. I'm going to the restroom." My mom thought nothing of it. He was gone for 5 minutes, and she said, "No, he's taking too long." So she was looking for him in the house, and the gate was open, and he was gone. And we found him 7 hours later, and about 1.5 miles from the house.
Well, how was it for you when trying to find him during that time?
It was, I can't describe it. It's like losing, a child.
Scary.
Scary, definitely. Thank you. You're just thinking what could happen to him. My dad isn't the kind who waits for green lights. He's like, no cars are coming. I'm crossing the street. So that's in the back of your mind, just hoping that he's okay. And we just called family members. My sisters came from Santa Barbara, Whittier, and we just all started looking for him. Called the Culver City Police Department, and they were very helpful. But it is scary.
What preventive measures have you taken now after something like that?
We put alarms on the doors, on all entry doors, and we've closed the gate. So now it seems like a prison, but we lock it, and it has helped. He's tried to actually jump over the gate, so we actually had to build another 1.5 foot section to the gate, which has helped. Alerted all the neighbors, and I don't know the name of the system that we have, but it's basically like a low jack, like a beeper that goes in the small of his back, and if he wanders off, we call the company and they track him.
You had mentioned the Alzheimer's Association had
The MedicAlert Safe Return Program, we have had the Safe Return Program by itself, but we just joined up with MedicAlert, which is a great partnership. MedicAlert, a lot of people with Alzheimer's disease have medical conditions, and so they'll either have a bracelet, or there's other types of jewelry that they can wear, a necklace or possibly something on their ankle if there's somebody who would mess with the bracelet and take it off. But it is a 24-hour emergency response system, and the caregiver would call the number once the person is lost, and they would put out a call to all the police, and people would start looking for this person on a national search. So, and most people, over 60%, are found less than 4 hours than they've been reported missing with the MedicAlert Safe Return.